community. So I only have 10 slides, it's really brief, so whoever dropped out, my win. And we kind of are treating today like it's it's like a do-over. It's like I want to take all of the things I've learned along the way, and with a couple of new relationships I'll tell you about today, and some exciting new news. So I feel like I deserve to be here, because we really are treating it like it's the first time. So with that, TableVogue, as Mackenzie said, is a line of fitted table covers. And let me tell you, so some of the top headers are, kind of what the VC world or the people say, this is how you explain your product. And so a big part of it is, what problem do we solve? So all of you in here, being professionals, have had to cover at some point a folding table, right? And you probably struggled with there weren't a lot of good solutions. So I'm just like you. I am a working professional and a busy mom, and was blessed that my house was a gathering house. And so sometimes I'd have 20 people for dinner on a Sunday. I'm like, where am I going to put everybody? So I put up these folding tables, and there was really not a good solution for someone like me. One cover, one piece. So I used to use painter's drop cloths, because it's the only kind of fabric I could find that was big enough to throw over the tables, and I'd end up kind of jimmy rigging the bottoms with gross grain ribbon or tucking them under or whatever. And then I thought, okay, let's talk to the market. I think that there's something here. So I started calling manufacturers and found out that none of them were interested in creating a fitted table cover. They were very proud to tell me, and this is important for all of you who are thinking about developing a product. So the first thing you want to do is get out and talk to your competition and see what they're thinking. And so it was very clear to me that because they were so proud of manufacturing cheap and fast product, that there was potential in the market to do something bigger. So we are one of those classic disruption stories. And whoops, I think I went the wrong way. So this is what makes us uniquely different. So you know that word, competitive differentiators? This is us. So our competition are drapes, cloths, and clings. And all of them, which again, this is my competition. And I think we look a lot better. Once you start really looking, no offense, gentlemen, but a man created this. It's a backless table. No woman would ever invent that. So you have things that, blow off the tables, things that are trip hazards. It's just the market was ripe for something new and better. And I will tell you confidently that most of these products, if not all, will be obsolete within the next couple of years. Once people started saying, wait, I can get rid of those pins and clips and adhesives and move to something that's one piece that my team can quickly throw on the table and transform a folding table from so-so to sensational, or drab to fab, whatever name you want to put on that, it was a no-brainer that the market reacted in a positive way. So we have really 3 target markets. The market is super huge. You don't think about it until Karen the other day, where's Karen? Karen said to me, she's like, I think about it, everybody needs one of these. And I was like, yep, it's $1 billion business. But because it's so compartmentalized with a lot of regional manufacturers, it's hard for people to kind of get their mind around sometime that this is more than a table cover. It's really an industry disruptor. So people buy us for special occasions at home. We're experiencing this whole gathering phenomena. And thank goodness for these brilliant, talented women called mommy bloggers and Pinterest. Everybody has access now to what professional planners and party professionals do on a daily basis, and they want to imitate that. And so we love her, okay? We love her. And we love her in all different versions of her, because that's who supports us. Also, when you have such a big runway of customer potential, you look for somebody that is a market connector. And so this lady, who is a much prettier version of me, is a mom probably who has a daughter-in-law and sisters, a husband who can reach there. So you can see that we started thinking, okay, instead of being all over the place, let's focus some energy on reaching her and more like her. I never saw this coming. Somebody very smart said, hey, have you surveyed your customers? And we were kind of a few thousand into the run, and I did. And surprisingly enough, because this is why I created the product here and because of business and professional reasons, I never would have known that people actually were buying TableVogue for affordable furniture in their home or their second homes or whatever. That market is 100 times bigger than my other two. So when people give you advice, be open to saying, hey, you know what, let's survey our customers and ask them like 3 things. And from that, I have a new category of business I would have never really focused on. Thirdly, like I said, we have sold table covers to everyone from Coca-Cola and Delta to people like Mama Popcorn that are part of this phenomena of festivals and outdoor markets. The fact that we can imprint logos on them or embroider or screen print is, if I had to give everything up and just say I'm going to put all my eggs in one basket, I will do that, because my competition in putting a logo on a table cover for companies like all of yours is horrible. It is cheap, it's super expensive. My competition to do this is about $340 or a couple of $100, and we're right around the $100 range, $150, and that's getting cheaper for us, so I like this. You kind of would look at TableVogue and say, okay, I get it, but maybe it's just the holidays or in summer around graduation time, but actually, these are all my sub-markets. These are people that we sell to every single day. And with the exception of things like tailgating, tailgating is amazing and a big, big category performer. Everything is a year-round proposition. The new news for us is a brand new relationship with West Point Manufacturing. Guys, know your local community. A young woman who works for the chamber here in Enterprise, Florida said, Jane, have you talked to West Point Home? They're down in Chipley. And I was like, Chipley, what? So I drove down, quickly met with them, and they were like, we're all in. So they're allowing me to offer decoratives, which you can see one of the new decorative patterns over here, and happy to pass around the product. And look, this is unique. No one is doing this. So where I have some people doing solid drapes or whatever, no one's doing decoratives. And so they are giving me just a huge shot in the arm with logistics and supply and distribution and a lot of boots on the ground from sales. Our projections are stunning and doable. All of those channels that I showed you, all of those categories of customers, we're going to hit 10 million in revenue, and we've got a 40% EBITDA, which is incredible. My business gets more efficient as I scale monetarily, and then I think I'm running out of time, so I want to do this. So right now, for the first time, I've bootstrapped this, which has been painful. Ask Josh, my sweet mate over there, that nice young man who hears me just begging for everything every day on the phone. So thank you for your support. But we feel like we can protect a 10 million valuation. And for the first time, I'm doing things like this. So thank you for I'm not asking you for money, but thank you for the dress rehearsal. And we're seeking $1.5 million so that I can do everything that we've kind of perfected to this point all at the same time and scale this sucker fast. Okay. So we've got a first mover position. Our AOV to the cart actually right now is closer to $500. $250 is more of a year-round average, which is great. People say, you know, you got to get $20 to the cart to make the transactional stuff make sense. We've got an NPS score of 98%. Guys, people use the word love when they buy TableVogue more than any other word. Words like excellence and quality and comfort. So for acquisition or for relationship building, those are really, really important. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. And please know that if I can ever help any of you guys, if anybody is, you know, it's a consumer product. And for the Panhandle, my success is really, really important because I think that we should be getting a bigger slice of the pie because we definitely have the lifestyle assets that we have to attract some of that business from Silicon Valley. So Dr. Edrinelli, Dr. Perkins back there, thank you guys for your support. The university has been awesome, Jim Sparks, in giving me access to tools that I need to learn more faster, because I probably should have gone to business school and didn't, but anyway. And so I call them when I'm in a bind or I need an answer to a question. So that's the great thing about being part of a small tribe. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. And again, thank you for the opportunity to tell you our story today. Yes, sir?
When did you know you were ready to go forward with your items?
Great question. I knew I was ready because I did that fearless thing of inviting lots of different people. I had a prototype made with a seamstress that I knew locally. I kind of knew what it needed to look like and how it needed to fit, and I cannot sew a button on a shirt, so it's ironic that I would invent this product, to be honest with you, but I invented it because I couldn't sew it. I mean, I couldn't make this if I tried. So I asked all types of people, not the positive people who say yes to everything, not your friends who want to support you, not your family who is like, oh, it's great, or are going to be super negative and say, why in the world are you bailing on your multi-million-dollar advertising and marketing company and deciding to do this? Have you lost your mind? And so you ask lots of different people, and if the resounding answer comes back, yes, I would buy this, then you're probably ready. And then when you get out in the market, you just listen and ask your first customers that you don't know what they think about the product, what they would do differently. And that's how we got we probably have 100%, which is incredible for a consumer product, but people really wanted it wrinkle-free out of the bag. You have to either throw it in a dryer or touch it with a steam iron. The new fabrics with West Point Home are virtually wrinkle-free. So that was it. But so the long way around to your question is, when people say yes, all different kinds of people, then it's probably time. You've got a good thing. Don't be obstinate if they say no, though. Like if they're not responding, you know, yes.
2 questions. What's your sales channel? Meaning most businesses try to go through some sort of marketing company to buy this type of stuff. I think.
Well, I'd be the marketing company.
Can you do logos?
I do.
Like on the trade, like on the...
Like licensed logos, like sports?
No, like company logos. So like if they're doing an event, they'd like the company logo across the...
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. We do them every day, all day long. Let me show you that picture again. Oh, I didn't tell you about the licensing deal with Party City, which is actually important. Yeah, we can do them. We can do them on all 4 panels or whatever. Most people want a logo on the front panel, and we do that better and faster than anybody right now in the market, and a better job. So I thought you were going to ask me about the sales channel being, am I on Amazon and stuff? So yes.
How many employees do you have? Or are you a one-woman powerhouse?
No, I've got a really tiny little New Yorker in my office back there that counts my pennies for me. So she handles all the compliance and accounting rigors, does a great job. I really handle all the relationship building for things like the licensing deals with Party City. And then our manufacturers, 2 of them, both have teams of 20 who focus on product development. We have some really good extension products that are obviously going to roll out as part of this. So totally, I probably have about 40 people every day with their eyes on the prize. The good news is most of those are transactional costs to me, and it's a really, the e-commerce is, you know, it's a battle, but it's a very innovative way to start a business because you can lean on a lot of external resources and not have to have that overhead. And it also gives you a lot of flexibility to go find the talent where you need it. So we might not have, and no offense, we've got a ton of talent here in like digital ad display and stuff, but maybe we don't have the best in SEO or conversion optimization. I can go out to the valley and hire somebody to help us do that. So it's a very modern business cycle. Yes, sir?
I may have missed it, but what's your patent cover for the
Great question. So if you're building a product type, and I would have never done this had I not gotten the patent. I would have never done it. It would have been like those people on Shark Tank that just tell Johnson & Johnson the best new idea, and you're just like, don't do it, don't tell them. So the patent, I spent as much time trying to knock myself off as I did building the product. So do that. Somebody told me that. I think it was the patent attorney who said, he said, I think you can patent your product, but go and knock yourself off first. And when I did, the only ways I could figure out a workaround is made it clumsy, it wasn't as attractive, and I'll tell you what it would be. It would be an elastic that kind of holds on, and every woman in this room knows nobody wants to deal with that. And at the same price point, it's probably not going to work. So the patent actually covers the functional use, so the fit. So if they stitch 1 stitch past this corner, which makes it fit the table, they have infringed on the patent. So Party City, when I did the licensing deal with them, I was sitting in the room with the CEO of the company. They're big, billion-dollar company, right? I'm sitting there, and he says to me, why are we doing a deal with her? Why aren't we just stealing it? And I'm like, I'm right here. And so their claim to fame is that they will see a trend in the market, knock it off, put it in their factories, and do it cheaper. They waterboarded that patent inside and out before they did the licensing deal to ensure. So they gave me extra confidence on it. And then since then, we've had some other relationships where people have really looked at it. So the patent is real, it's real IP, and it's great. And I'm getting it officially evaluated right now. So, anybody else? Yes, sir. Yes. Go ahead.
Can you tell us a little bit about how your deal with Party City evolved, how you managed to make that relationship?
It was impossible, but I did it. The funny thing about this, I will tell you all, is you know, before I decided to be all in on this, I had a pretty successful marketing and advertising company here locally. And you can go and get, you know, if I wanted to talk to any of you, and you know, I have fancy friends, right? So I could go and find people. It's very humbling how long it takes to get through to people, right? So I tried to get Party City because I knew it was a winner. I knew that I had a good, you know, conversation to have with them or whatever. And I tried for probably 6 solid weeks to just get through the door. A friend of mine outside the area said, hey, Jerry Rittenberg, the chairman of the board, was at an event with me. You want me to introduce you? I was like, yes, I do. Within 5 minutes of her sending an email, Jerry responded, set me up with the senior vice president of development, and I was in New Jersey a week later. The gentleman who ignored me for 6 weeks was at the table and said, I wish we just would have known you sooner. And I was like, answer your phone. Look at your email. And I just sat there and smiled and didn't say a word and said, okay, great, well, I'm here now. Let's do this deal. So we went up, we had a conversation. They had to get the factories to learn how to sew. So basically my deal with Party City is I gave them the exclusive right in perpetuity of the patent to create a disposable, cheap version of my fabric table cover. It was something that my customers kept wanting for like crawfish boils and their kids' concessions. They didn't want to use their fabric for that. So I felt like that was a way to just light the fire. That wasn't something I was prepared to do. It's a big China play. It had already been hard enough in the States. I was like, no way I'm going to China to do this by myself. And I felt like it was a feeder market to the fabric, which is where I wanted to focus. So now I get a royalty check, which is kind of cool. They gave me $100 grand up front just to do the deal because I told them I wasn't going to do it without it. And that was good money for us at the time. And it's not easy. That all sounded so easy, and none of that was easy. I'll just tell you that. So, yes.
Do y'all offer any non-permeable fabrics? Because I have a catering company and I go through tablecloths a lot.
I know.
It would be nice to have one that doesn't get stained this season.
We have a patented soil release feature in this. Ours are so much better made than probably the stuff you're using. They do last a lot longer. The rental market is a huge multi-million dollar next step for us, as is so that you have those available to you. But I would tell you that we've heard from caterers, because we sell a lot to a lot of them, that they love it, the performance of it, and it's just better than other stuff on the market. So yes, Don.
What percentage is standardized? I mean, what percentage is custom versus the standard size?
All of it is standard size. So there are 9, it's a great question, there are 9 standard size folding tables right now in the marketplace. And the 6 foot, because it was around the longest, and it's gone from being, when I was a kid, it took 6 men to move it. You know, I think my mom still has one. And to these very composite-like, easy to lift tables, or in fabrication. So there are 9, and we only sew, unless the order is more than 12, and then we'll kind of say, yeah, we'll sew it for you, and give them a little upcharge. We have, to keep the price point at a place where it's affordable for everyone, we made a conscious decision to stay out of the custom business right now, because you get into this area where now people are measuring their tables, and it's just something that I'm going to try to avoid like the plague for as long as I can, but I'll probably play in that space in a while. Yes, sir.
One of the things I liked that you said there, if I understood correctly, is so you're using West Point manufacturing. Mm-hmm. And what I see in the community is several of our presenters are making plastics products, but they're having to go to China. So I'm puzzling how we can build more of a manufacturing base here that could do things. So somewhere along the lines you said, I want to stay local. You found a manufacturer, and so I'm intrigued with that. How do we get more manufacturing going here, particularly around the plastics?
There's a gentleman at West Point Home that is a local ED guy. He's big into economic development, and they were going to close. That is the last domestic plant left. Do you remember the big one when you'd go to Atlanta with the fountain out in front on 65 or 8, whatever that is? The big West Point Pepperell. You know, it was like our destination, like, oh, we're almost there when we got to that. You know, all of those are gone. So this one plant, and the guy in Chipley, his name is Terry Ellis, looked at these specs that they were getting because they were about to close it and move that last bit of business to Mexico. He says they're not offering what they're telling you, and he saved that plant. And so with total transparency here, we are sewing the solids offshore. They're doing all of the printed in the Chipley plant to get those jobs and stuff. It is a conundrum when you study the numbers and look. I mean, we still can't compete with offshoring some of it. But obviously the jobs that we're going to create here as part of this e-commerce consumer product explosion are high-end jobs. They're in, you know, retail in the e-commerce space is as much technology as it is customer interaction. I mean, it's all technology right now. So those jobs are going to be great. Yes, ma'am.
At this point, are you shipping internationally? Or do you
We don't. I don't. But we do international business through Amazon, and Party City just expanded their license to Japan, Australia, Canada. They're just blowing and going with that. So I think Mackenzie's wrapping me, but I want to answer your question. No, I love that you have so many questions. I would stay here all day and talk about this. I love it.
talking international? Did you do international patents?
You know, it's a great question. I didn't. They're too hard, too expensive, and there's so much market domestically that I can control. And I kind of like the idea about if somebody wants to rip me off in Japan and whatever, I mean, go for it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the giver in me. I mean, there's nothing I can do. I am going to fiercely protect the patent domestically. I made in my contracts with Party City and another licensing deal I have, I made them 90% responsible for legally protecting it because I knew they're greedier than I am. And so that was really smart, and you should do that because it's very expensive. So far, I talked to enough of the big guys that they know better to rip me off. Like, they know that we've had conversations. I have email threads. I did a lot of like, hey, this is what we're doing, and because you told me you're not interested, I just want to let you know we're here if you want to play nice. So I have a long trail of that. So they know that I will be mean. Yes?
Yes, so our final question, and definitely stick around and ask for more questions after.
Sure.
Is what can the community do for you?
Oh, buy these table covers. No, seriously, if you know of someone or you need product, they are incredibly useful and easy. Please buy from me. And if you have a company and they're buying table covers, probably right now they're buying table covers from somebody and they could be buying a better one from us at a cheaper price. So anyways, with that, but mostly just thank you for your support. All of you have been great, especially my office is actually here now. So we're gonna scale this right here out of the old annex, which I love. So it makes me feel like I'm still part of a bigger team, but it allows me to focus without being distracted on my own thing. And to Pat Rooney, I just want to tell you guys, if you're looking at treasure troves that we have of talent in the community, people like Pat Rooney is my favorite. I hit him up for way too many favors with questions, I call him. So anyways, we're very blessed right now, and it seems like we're really, you know, doing it. So Mackenzie, thank you for the offer to be here. Thanks, guys.